Questions 1 through 10 on the 2016 Grade 10 AMC 10B. What is the value of this expression when a is a half? Well, we can substitute a equals a half, or you can just simplify this first. We can simplify that first, I think. It'll be 2 over a, and then 1 over 2a, all over a. This, if we get a common denominator, it'll be 4 plus 1, which is 5 over 2a, all over a. Invert and multiply, and you get 5 over 2a times 1 over a. And that becomes 5 over 2a squared. Now we'll substitute in the a equals a half. And when you do, you get 2 times a half squared, which is a quarter. So invert and multiply, and you get 5 over 1 times 4 over 2. And that looks like it will be 10. So number 1, the answer is D. If n heart m is n cubed times m squared, what is 2 heart 4 over 4 heart 2? All right, so using the definition that they give here, we'll plug these in. It'll be 2 to the power of 3 times 4 to the power of 2. And that will be over 4 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 2, like that. And this becomes 2 to the power of 3. I'll convert that 4 to 2 to the power of 2. And I'll do the same thing down here, 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 3. So now we can get it all in powers of 2. 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 4. And on the denominator, it'll be 2 to the power of 6 times 2 to the power of 2. The top is 2 to the power of 7. The bottom is 2 to the power of 8. And that leaves me with just 1 over 2. So number 2, the answer is B. If x is negative 2016, what is the value of this expression? All right, well, let's carefully do this. Minus 2016, and then minus 2016. And there is an absolute value sign there, and then absolute value of negative 2016. And then close it all out, and then minus 2016 negative. All right, so let's see here. This becomes just positive 2016. And this becomes positive 2016. And I think this part here will be minus, and then this is positive 2016, like that. And this is also positive 2016. So I'm doing this carefully because it's very easy to make a mistake on this one. So this will be 4032 minus 2016, so that's just 2016. And then finally, when you drop the absolute value signs, you get 2016 plus 2016, which is of course 4032. So just make sure that you don't make any small algebraic mistakes. Number 3 is D. Zoe read 15 books one at a time. The first book took her 1 day to read, the second book took 2 days to read, third book took her 3 days, and so on, with each book taking 1 more day to read than the previous book. Zoe finished the first book on a Monday and the second book on a Wednesday. On what day of the week did she finish her 15th book? Well, we'll make a little calendar: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So she finished her first book on a Monday, so F1, finished 1. Finished her second book on a Wednesday, sorry. So that'd be F2 goes here. So I guess she started reading here. It took her 1 day to read the first book, that's why she finished there, and then took her an additional 2 days to finish the second book, and that's why she's there. So after 15 books, they want you to figure out what day of the week. Well, the total number of days is going to be 1 for the first book, 2 for the second book, 3 for the third book, and so on, right? Dot, 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 all the way up until 15. And this, as I'm sure you know, has that's formula n times n plus 1 over 2, where n is the last number. So it's 15 times 16 over 2, and that's 8 times 15, which is 120. So from the start, we have to count 120 days. Okay, well, if I count 7 days, I get back to the Sunday. 14 days, every 7 days it'll be a Sunday again. So every multiple of 7, 70 for example, 77 and so on. And then you just keep counting and eventually you get up to 119. That's a multiple of 7. So the 120th day will be a Monday. And that's pretty much all there is to this question. So number 4, the answer is B. The mean age of Amanda's 4 cousins is 8, and their median is 5. What is the sum of the ages of Amanda's youngest and oldest cousins? So let's say her cousins are A, B, C, and D. And they tell me that the mean is 8. So A plus B plus C plus D divided by 4 is 8. So that means A plus B plus C, their ages, plus D is 32, equal to 32. The median is 5, so that means the average of those two numbers is 5. So B plus C divided by 2 is 5. So B plus C is 10. Well, if B plus C is 10, I can plug that into there. So A plus 10 plus D is 32, and therefore A plus D is 22. And what they're asking is, what is the sum of the ages of the youngest and oldest cousins? Well, this is the youngest, this is the oldest, since we have written that in a way that it's lowest to highest. So the sum of A plus D is right here. We just did it, 22. So number 5, the answer is D. Laura added 2 3-digit positive integers. All 6 digits in these numbers are different. Laura's sum is a 3-digit number S. What is the smallest possible value for the sum of the digits of S? We have a 3-digit number and then another 3-digit number, and that obviously is equal to, and what they're saying is another 3-digit number, and this is being called S. And they're saying what is the smallest possible value for the sum of the digits of S? So whatever these digits are here, we have to add them. Okay, what I'm going to do is just work with the answer choices, a little bit easier. Let's see if I can get a 1. So the sum of the digits of S, if they are 1, since this cannot be a 0, that has to be a 1. And therefore this would have to be 0 and that would have to be 0. So can you get 2 numbers to add up to 100? Well, if they're 3-digit numbers, the answer is no, right? Because the smallest 3-digit number is 100, and 100 plus 100 is 200. So that's not possible. So this is out. Okay, let's try 4. The sum of the digits of S is 4. All right, well, there's a few ways of doing that. So how can I do that? We have to basically make all 6 of the digits in these numbers different. So if we want this sum to be as small as possible, we're going to have to put the smallest numbers here and here. So the smallest number I can put here is 1, and since all the digits are different, I can't put another 1 here, but I can put a 2. And I can't put 0 because obviously if I did, those would not be 3-digit numbers. So therefore, this looks like it could be a 3. Now I'm trying to get the sum of the digits to be 4, right? So if I already got a 3 in here, that means this plus this has got to be 1 in order to make the sum of the digits of S 4. So perhaps that could be a 1 and that could be 0. But there's no way of me doing that. That would mean this would have to be 1 and 0, but I can't put another 1 in here because the digits all have to be different. So what about if I tried to put a 1 here and a 0 here? Same story. Again, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm stuck. So what should I do? Well, make this a 4. I think that might work, and the sum of the digits could be 4 if this is 0 and this is 0. All right, so what can this be and what can that be? I've got a few choices. Remember, I can put any number from 1 to 9, and I can also put a 0. So we've got a few choices here. The 1 and the 2 have already been used. So using some of these other numbers, I've got to make this add up to 400. And after fiddling around with this a little bit let's say if I put 4 and 3, and then I put 5 and 7, that would make them all have different digits. And then the sum, I think, would be 400. Yeah, the sum would be 400. There you go. And there's other ways of doing this too. That's not the only way, by the way. And there you go. I figured it out in a way so that the sum of the digits of S are 4. And that is, well, the smallest possible because all the other answer choices are bigger. So with a little bit of trial and error, number 6 is B. The ratio of the measures of two angles, acute angles, is 5:4, and the complement of one of these angles is twice as large as the complement of the other, whereas the sum of the degree measures of the two angles. So the ratio is 5:4, so I'll let one angle be 5x and the other angle be 4x. Now, do you remember what is complementary angles? Complementary angles basically means two angles that add up to 90. And then supplementary angles is two angles that add up to 180. So the complement of this guy would be 90 minus 5x. And the complement of that guy would be 90 minus 4x. And they're saying one is twice the other. So obviously, since this is smaller than that, this is smaller than that. So that means that 90 minus 4x is equal to 2 times 90 minus 5x. So that's basically how you would approach this in terms of the algebra involved. 90 minus 4x is equal to 180 minus 10x. And let's see here, 90 is equal to 6x, and therefore x is equal to 15. What do they want? The sum of the degree measures of the two angles. Since x is 15, 5x is 5 times 15, which is 75. And 4x is 4 times 15, which is 60. And the sum would be 60 plus 75, which is 135. 75 plus 60. 135. Number 7, therefore, the answer is C. What is the tens digit of 2015 to the power of 2016 minus 2017? Okay, so obviously you're not going to calculate that. Impossible. So we have to look for some sort of a pattern. And you can look at 2015, powers of 2015, but because they're only interested in the tens digit, I really only have to be concerned about the tens digits of those guys. So instead of looking at the full number, I'm just going to look at powers of 15, the last two. And I think that should be sufficient to figure out a pattern. And hopefully I'll get it sooner. I'll get the pattern sooner rather than later. And let's just go up to 8. I think that should be sufficient. Okay, and what we have to look at are the last two digits. And then in the end, we can subtract 17 and see what we end up with. Okay, so the last two digits of 15 to the power of 1 obviously are 15. 15 squared, the last two digits will be 25. 15 to the power of 3, the last two digits, 75. 15 to the power of 4, last two digits, 25. 15 to the power of 5, last two digits, 75. Okay, I think you see a little bit of a pattern here. 15 to the power of 6, 25. 15 to the power of 7, the last two digits, 75. 15 to the power of 8, last two digits, 25. So you definitely see a pattern, right? Except for the first one, there's a pattern, 25, 75, 25, 75, and so on. And I guess the pattern is that when the exponent is even, it's a 25. When the exponent is odd, it's a 75. I think that is the pattern. So what I'm interested in, all the way to 15 to the power of 2016. Well, 2016 is even, so therefore the last two digits must be 25. Okay. All right, great. And then I have to subtract this 2017. So from 25, I'm subtracting 17. Remember, I'm only concerned about the last two digits, and that gives me 0.8. This is the ones digit, this is the tens digit. That's 0. So number 8, the answer is A. All 3 vertices of triangle ABC lie on the parabola defined by y is equal to x squared, with A at the origin and BC parallel to the x-axis. The area of the triangle is 64. What is the length of BC? All right, let's draw a graph, and let's figure what this may look like. And I'm going to have to approximate this, so something like this, right? So this is my graph, y is equal to x squared. And they tell me the origin is where we have A, and then B and C are here and here, B and C. So let's draw our triangle. Obviously that's parallel to the x-axis, which is right here. And then, of course, I got to join those two. And now they have told me that the area of that triangle is 64. So area, which is 1/2 base times height, is 64. Okay, so what's the base and what's the height? Well, let's see here. The point C will be of the form x, y, obviously, but y is equal to x squared, so it'll be x squared, like that. And that point C is very important because it tells me my base from there to there, because from here to here is x, and because of the symmetry of this diagram, from there to there will also be x. So the base was 2x. And then the height from top to bottom, well, that's the y coordinate, and that's x squared. So there we go. So this looks like 64 is equal to x to the power of 3. X, therefore, is 4. And what do they want? The length of BC. Well, the length of BC is 2x. So since x is 4, it'll be 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. So number 9, the answer is C. A thin piece of wood of uniform density in the shape of an equilateral triangle with side length 3 inches weighs 12 ounces. A second piece of the same type of wood with the same thickness, also in the shape of an equilateral triangle, has side length 5 inches. Which of the following is closest to the weight in ounces of the second piece? Wow, talking about density here. It sounds like a physics exam. So density, if you remember, is mass over volume. Mass also can be interchanged with the word weight, I think, if I remember. And that's what they're using. They're using the word weight. Okay, no problem. So let's first figure out the first equilateral triangle, and then we can work with the next one. So the first one, I'll just chop it in half like that. And for the 1000th time, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and I don't think you need me to walk you through it because I've done this so many times. It becomes painful to listen to it. So I'll just do this really quickly. The side length is 3. So that means this guy from there to there will be 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 like that. So using the ratios of the sides, you get h over 3 over 2 is the same as root 3 over 1. Therefore, h is equal to 3 root 3 over 2. And that means the volume will be the area times the thickness. And the thickness they don't give us because eventually it cancels out. So I'll just use a t to represent thickness. The area, of course, 1/2 base times height. The base is 3. The height is 3 root 3 over 2. So this becomes 9 root 3 over 4t. And that's the volume of this first equilateral triangle. And therefore, its density will be mass over volume. Mass they give me is 12. The volume is 9 root 3 over 4 times t. And let's see here, invert and multiply 12 over 1 times 4 times 9 root 3 t. And I think that becomes what, 48 over 9 root 3 t. And that's density. Okay, hopefully there's nothing confusing so far. And let's move forward with the second part. So the second part, what they do is they give you another equilateral triangle, but this time that equilateral triangle is a little bit bigger. It has the side length of 5. So again, same sort of story to figure out the height. If this is height, 5 over 2 was going to be that side, correct? So h over 5 over 2 is equivalent, as before, to root 3 over 1. So h is 5 root 3 over 2. And then therefore, this equation, density is mass over volume. Well, the density is the same, so I can plug in that 48 9 root 3 times the thickness. The mass is what we're actually trying to figure out. The volume is area times the thickness. Well, the area is 1/2 base, which is 5 for this triangle, times height, which is 5 root 3 over 2, and then don't forget that t. Okay, I think I have everything to figure out mass. The t's and the root 3's cancel, so these guys cancel. So what I'm left with is 48 over 9 m, and then on this side, let's see here, 25 over 4, right? Hopefully haven't made any mistakes. Okay, cross multiply, and therefore m is 48 over 9, 25 over 4, and therefore, let's see here, 12, if you use that cancellation, 12 times 25 is what, 300? 300 over 9, and 300 over 9 is what, 33.33, and then that's it. So m is 33.33, and therefore number 10, the answer is D.